Hello and welcome to English Stories with Ella. I'm Ella and I'm so happy you found my channel. Today I'm thrilled to introduce you to a very special magical story, The Frog Prince, a magical story in easy English. The Princess and the Golden Ball. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom surrounded by forests and lakes, there lived a king who had a daughter. She was the most beautiful princess in all the land. The princess had long golden hair that shined in the sunlight and eyes as blue as the summer sky. Everyone called her Princess Lily. Princess Lily had everything she could ever want. She had beautiful dresses, delicious food, and many toys to play with. But her favourite thing in the whole world was her golden ball. The ball was small enough to fit in her hand, but heavy because it was made of real gold. It shined and sparkled when she threw it in the air. Every day, when the weather was nice, Princess Lily would go to the big lake near the castle. There was a tall oak tree by the lake with green leaves that made cool shade. The princess would sit under this tree and play with her golden ball. She would throw it up in the air and catch it. Up and down, up and down. She never got bored playing with her golden ball. One hot summer day, Princess Lily went to the lake as usual. She sat under the oak tree and began to play. She threw her ball higher and higher into the air. "I wonder how high I can throw it," she thought. The princess threw the ball as high as she could. The golden ball flew up, up, up into the air. But when it came down, the princess missed it. The ball rolled away from her, across the grass, and right into the lake with a small splash. "Oh no!" cried Princess Lily. "My beautiful golden ball!" She ran to the edge of the lake and looked into the water. The lake was very deep, and she could not see her ball any more. Tears filled her eyes. "My ball is gone forever!" she cried. "What will I do now?" As tears rolled down her cheeks, she heard a strange voice. "Princess, why are you crying?" asked the voice. Princess Lily looked around but didn't see anyone. "Who's there?" she asked. "Down here," said the voice. The princess looked down and saw a small green frog sitting on a lily pad in the water. She was surprised that a frog could talk. "Did you just speak to me?" she asked the frog. "Yes, I did," replied the frog. "Why are you so sad?" Princess Lily wiped her tears and said, "I was playing with my golden ball, but I dropped it into the lake. Now it's gone forever, and it was my favourite toy." The frog's eyes grew big and round. "I can help you," he said. "I am an excellent swimmer. I can dive deep into the lake and get your ball for you." Princess Lily's face lit up with hope. "You would do that for me? Oh, thank you, kind frog." But the frog held up his small green foot. "Wait," he said. "If I get your golden ball for you, what will you give me in return?" The princess thought for a moment. "I can give you many things," she said. "I can give you my pearl necklace, or my silver ring, or even my diamond crown." The frog shook his head. "I don't want your jewellery, princess. I want to be your friend." "My friend?" asked Princess Lily, surprised. "Yes," said the frog. "If I get your ball, you must promise to let me live with you in the castle. I want to eat from your plate, drink from your cup, and sleep on your soft pillow. I am lonely here in the lake, and I want a friend." Princess Lily was not happy about this. She didn't want a slimy frog to eat from her plate or sleep on her pillow. But she really wanted her golden ball back. "He will never be able to swim to the bottom of the lake," thought the princess. "And even if he does, he will never find my ball. I can promise him whatever he wants, and I won't have to keep my promise." So Princess Lily nodded and said, "Yes, I promise. If you bring back my golden ball, you can live with me in the castle, eat from my plate, drink from my cup, and sleep on my pillow." The frog was very happy to hear this. He dove into the water with a splash and disappeared beneath the surface of the lake. Princess Lily waited by the edge of the lake. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 5. She began to worry that the frog had drowned or gotten lost in the deep water. But then, with a big splash, the frog appeared again, and in his mouth was the golden ball. He swam to the edge of the lake and carefully placed the ball on the grass. "Oh, thank you," cried Princess Lily. She grabbed her ball and hugged it close. She was so happy to have it back that she completely forgot about her promise to the frog. Princess Lily turned and began to run back to the castle, leaving the frog behind. "Wait," called the frog. "Take me with you. Remember your promise." But Princess Lily didn't stop. She ran all the way back to the castle and went inside, shutting the big door behind her. She didn't think about the frog again for the rest of the day. That evening, Princess Lily sat at the dinner table with her father, the king. Servants brought them delicious food on golden plates. The princess was just about to take her first bite when she heard a strange sound. Plop, plop, plop. It sounded like wet footsteps on the stone floor. Plop, plop, plop. The sound got louder and closer. Plop, plop, plop. Then a small voice called out, "Princess Lily, let me in. You promised to be my friend." The king looked at his daughter. "Who is that, Lily? Who is calling you?" Princess Lily's face turned red. She didn't want to tell her father about the frog. But the voice called again. "Princess, please open the door. I got your golden ball from the lake, and you promised to let me stay with you." The king's eyes grew serious. "Lily, who is at the door? What promise did you make?" Princess Lily looked down at her plate. She didn't want to meet her father's eyes. In a quiet voice, she told him about dropping her ball in the lake and how the frog had gotten it back for her and the promise she had made. The king listened carefully. When she finished her story, he shook his head. "Lily," he said firmly, "a promise is a promise. Even if you don't want to keep it, you must. A princess always keeps her word. Go and open the door for the frog." Princess Lily didn't want to, but she knew her father was right. With a heavy heart, she went to the castle door and opened it. There on the doorstep sat the small green frog, looking up at her with his big eyes. "You left me behind," said the frog. "But I have come to live with you, as you promised." The princess didn't say anything. She just turned and walked back to the dinner table, and the frog hopped after her. Plop, plop, plop. When they reached the table, the frog looked up at Princess Lily. "Lift me onto your chair," he said. The princess didn't want to touch the frog, but her father gave her a stern look. So she reached down and picked up the frog. His skin was wet and slippery, and she almost dropped him. But she managed to place him on the chair next to her. "Now put me on the table," said the frog. Again, Princess Lily did as she was told. The frog hopped onto the table and sat next to her golden plate. "Push your plate closer," said the frog. "We will share your food as you promised." Princess Lily was very unhappy. She didn't want to share her food with a frog, but she pushed her plate closer to him. The frog began to eat from her plate. He was very messy, and bits of food fell on the tablecloth. Princess Lily couldn't eat anything at all. She just watched the frog, feeling more and more upset. "Now, let me drink from your cup," said the frog. The princess pushed her golden cup toward him, and the frog took a big drink. Water dripped from his mouth back into the cup. "Thank you," said the frog. "The food and drink were delicious." After dinner, the frog looked at Princess Lily and said, "I am tired now. Carry me to your room. I want to sleep on your soft pillow as you promised." This was too much for Princess Lily. She didn't want the wet, slimy frog in her beautiful bedroom. "No," she cried. "I will not have you on my pillow. You can sleep in the garden or back at your lake, but not in my room." The king frowned at his daughter. "Lily," he said in a stern voice, "you made a promise and you must keep it. Take the frog to your room." The frog began to eat from her plate. He was very messy, and bits of food fell on the tablecloth. Princess Lily couldn't eat anything at all. She just watched the frog, feeling more and more upset. "Now, let me drink from your cup," said the frog. The princess pushed her golden cup toward him, and the frog took a big drink. Water dripped from his mouth back into the cup. "Thank you," said the frog. The food and drink were delicious. After dinner, the frog looked at Princess Lily and said, "I am tired now. Carry me to your room. I want to sleep on your soft pillow, as you promised." This was too much for Princess Lily. She didn't want the wet, slimy frog in her beautiful bedroom. "No," she cried, "I will not have you on my pillow. You can sleep in the garden or back at your lake, but not in my room." The king frowned at his daughter. "Lily," he said in a stern voice, "you made a promise and you must keep it. Take the frog to your room." Princess Lily knew she had to obey her father. With tears in her eyes, she picked up the frog and carried him upstairs to her bedroom. She placed him on the floor and gave him a small box to sleep in. "Here," she said, "you can sleep in this box." But the frog shook his head. "No, Princess, you promised I could sleep on your pillow." Princess Lily was very angry now. She picked up the frog and said, "You are a mean, ugly frog. I hate having you here. I wish I had never made that promise." And with those words, she threw the frog against the wall of her bedroom. But instead of hearing the frog hit the wall, she heard a strange sound. It was like the tinkling of tiny bells or the breaking of a spell. Princess Lily looked up, and where the frog should have hit the wall, there now stood a young man. He was tall and handsome, with kind eyes and a smile on his face. He wore the clothes of a prince with a golden crown on his head. Princess Lily was so surprised that she couldn't speak. She just stared at the prince with her mouth open. Who are you?" Princess Lily finally managed to ask. "And where is the frog?" The young man stepped forward and bowed to her. "I am Prince Oliver," he said, "and I was the frog." Princess Lily couldn't believe her ears. "You were the frog, but how is that possible?" Prince Oliver sat down on a chair and began to tell his story. 3 years ago, I was a normal prince living in a kingdom not far from here. One day, while riding through the forest, I met an old woman. She asked me for some water, as she was very thirsty. But I was in a hurry and didn't want to stop. I told her to find a stream herself and rode away. What I didn't know was that the old woman was actually a powerful witch. She was angry that I had been so unkind. She followed me to a lake where I stopped to let my horse drink. When I bent down to wash my face in the water, she appeared behind me. "Young prince," she said, "you have shown that you have a cold heart. You shall become as cold and wet as your heart is." And with those words, she turned me into a frog. "You will remain a frog," she told me, "until a princess is kind to you, even when she doesn't want to be, and then throws you against a wall in anger. Only then will the spell be broken." Princess Lily listened to his story with wide eyes. "That's a strange way to break a spell," she said. Prince Oliver nodded. "Yes, it is. I think the witch wanted to teach me a lesson about kindness and keeping promises. For 3 years I lived in that lake, hoping that someday a princess would come along who could break the spell. And then today you came with your golden ball." Princess Lily looked down, feeling ashamed. "But I wasn't kind to you," she said in a small voice. "I didn't want to keep my promise, and I threw you against the wall." "But you did keep your promise," said Prince Oliver, "even though you didn't want to. You let me eat from your plate and drink from your cup. You brought me to your room, just as you had promised. And then, yes, you threw me in anger, but that was the final part of breaking the spell. So you have freed me, Princess Lily, and I am very grateful." Princess Lily thought about this. She hadn't been very nice to the frog, but she had kept her promise in the end. And now, because of her, a prince was free from a terrible spell. "I'm sorry I was unkind to you," she said. "I shouldn't have tried to break my promise, and I shouldn't have thrown you against the wall." Prince Oliver smiled. "I forgive you, Princess, and I hope we can be friends now, just as I asked when I was a frog." Princess Lily smiled back. "Yes, I would like that very much." Just then there was a knock on the bedroom door. It was the king coming to check on his daughter and the frog. When the king opened the door and saw Prince Oliver standing there, he was very surprised. "Who are you, young man? And where is the frog?" Prince Oliver bowed to the king and explained everything. He told about the witch's spell and how Princess Lily had broken it. The king listened carefully. When Prince Oliver finished his story, the king looked thoughtful. "So you are a prince from a neighbouring kingdom," he said. "I believe I know your father. He has been very worried about you since you disappeared 3 years ago." "Yes," said Prince Oliver sadly. "I'm sure my parents think I am dead. I must return home as soon as possible to let them know I am alive and well." "You shall leave first thing in the morning," said the king. "I will provide you with a horse and an escort to ensure you reach your kingdom safely." That night, Prince Oliver stayed in a guest room in the castle. Princess Lily couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the frog who had turned into a prince and how she had almost broken her promise to him. "I've learned an important lesson," she thought. "I must always keep my promises, even when it's hard. And I should be kind to everyone, even if they seem strange or different." In the morning, Princess Lily watched as Prince Oliver prepared to leave. The king had given him a fine white horse and new clothes fit for a prince. Before mounting his horse, Prince Oliver turned to Princess Lily. "Thank you again for breaking the spell," he said. "I have learned much during my time as a frog, and I will never again refuse to help someone in need." Princess Lily stepped forward. "And I have learned to keep my promises and to be kind, even when I don't want to be." Prince Oliver smiled. "Perhaps you could visit my kingdom someday. I would like to show you my home and introduce you to my parents." Princess Lily nodded eagerly. "I would like that very much." Prince Oliver mounted his horse. Before riding away, he turned back one last time. "Until we meet again, Princess Lily." "Until we meet again, Prince Oliver," she replied. And with that, Prince Oliver rode off toward his kingdom, with the king's men escorting him safely. Part 4. The Two Kingdoms. A year passed. Princess Lily often thought about Prince Oliver and wondered how he was doing. She had become a kinder and more responsible princess. She always kept her promises, even the small ones, and she was nice to everyone she met, from the highest noble to the lowest servant. One day a messenger arrived at the castle with an invitation. Prince Oliver's kingdom was having a grand celebration for his 21st birthday, and Princess Lily and her father were invited to attend. Princess Lily was very excited. "Can we go farther?" "Please." The king smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm. "Yes, we will go. It will be good to strengthen the friendship between our kingdoms." So they prepared for the journey. Princess Lily packed her most beautiful dresses and her golden ball, which she wanted to show to Prince Oliver. The journey to Prince Oliver's kingdom took 3 days. They travelled through forests and across rivers, and finally they saw the towers of Prince Oliver's castle in the distance. The castle was magnificent, with tall white towers and colourful flags flying in the breeze. As they approached, Princess Lily felt both excited and nervous. She wondered if Prince Oliver would remember her. When they arrived at the castle gates, Prince Oliver himself was there to greet them. He had grown even more handsome in the past year, and he smiled broadly when he saw Princess Lily. "Welcome to my kingdom," he said, bowing to the king and then to Princess Lily. "I am so glad you could come to celebrate with us." Princess Lily curtsied. "Thank you for inviting us, Prince Oliver. Happy birthday." For the next week there were many festivities in the kingdom. There were tournaments where knights competed in jousting and archery. There were feasts with delicious food, and there were dances every night. During this time, Princess Lily and Prince Oliver spent many hours together. They walked in the castle gardens, they rode horses through the countryside, and they talked about their lives and their dreams. Prince Oliver told Princess Lily about his return home after the spell was broken. "My parents couldn't believe it when I arrived at the castle," he said. "They had given up hope of ever seeing me again. When I told them about the witch and the spell and how you helped break it, they were very grateful to you." Princess Lily smiled. "I'm just glad I could help, even if I didn't know I was helping at the time." On the day before Princess Lily and her father were to return to their own kingdom, Prince Oliver took her to a special place. It was a small lake in the forest, much like the one where they had first met. "This is where I used to come when I was a child," said Prince Oliver. "It reminds me of the lake where I lived as a frog, but with happier memories." They sat by the edge of the lake, watching the water sparkle in the sunlight. Princess Lily took out her golden ball from her pocket. "Look," she said, "I still have it, and I'm much more careful with it now. I never throw it near water." Prince Oliver laughed. "I'm glad to hear that, though if you did drop it in this lake, I could get it for you. I'm still a very good swimmer." Princess Lily laughed too. Then her face grew serious. "I want to thank you, Prince Oliver." "Thank me?" he asked, surprised. "For what?" "You're the one who broke the spell and saved me." "Yes, but you taught me an important lesson about keeping promises and being kind. I'm a better person because of you." Prince Oliver looked into her eyes. "And I'm a better person because of you, Princess Lily. Being a frog for 3 years was difficult, but it taught me patience and humility. And meeting you taught me about forgiveness and friendship." They sat in silence for a moment, enjoying the peaceful scene and each other's company. Finally, Prince Oliver spoke again. "Princess Lily, I have something to ask you." "What is it?" she asked. Would you consider staying here? Not just for the celebration, but forever. Our kingdoms could be united, and we could rule together one day." Princess Lily's heart beat faster. "Are you asking me to marry you, Prince Oliver?" He nodded, his face serious but his eyes hopeful. "Yes, I am." I've grown to care for you deeply this past year, thinking about you and writing letters, and these days together have shown me that my feelings are true. I love you, Princess Lily." Princess Lily didn't have to think for long. She too had felt her feelings grow over the past year, and being with Prince Oliver these past days had confirmed what she felt in her heart. "Yes," she said, her face glowing with happiness. "I will marry you, Prince Oliver. I love you too." Prince Oliver's face broke into a wide smile. He took her hands in his and leaned forward to kiss her gently. That evening they announced their engagement at the final feast of the celebration. Both kingdoms rejoiced at the news, for it meant peace and friendship between them for many years to come. A few months later, Princess Lily and Prince Oliver were married in a grand ceremony attended by people from both kingdoms. The old oak tree by the lake where they first met was carved with their initials, and a small golden statue of a frog was placed beneath it, to remind them of their unusual beginning. Years passed, and Princess Lily and Prince Oliver, now King Oliver and Queen Lily, ruled their united kingdoms with wisdom and kindness. They were beloved by their people, who knew they could always count on their monarchs to keep their promises and to help those in need. One day, when their own children were old enough to understand, Queen Lily took them to the lake where she had first met their father. "I want to tell you a story," she said as they sat beneath the old oak tree. "It's the story of a princess who dropped her golden ball in a lake, and the frog who helped her get it back." The children listened with wide eyes as their mother told them how she had made a promise to the frog, how she had almost broken that promise, and how the frog had turned out to be their father under a witch's spell. "The lesson of the story," said Queen Lily, "is that we must always keep our promises, even when it's hard, and we must be kind to everyone, even if they seem different from us, for you never know who might be hiding behind an unusual appearance, or what magic might be at work in the world." The royal children thought about this. Then the youngest child asked, "But mother, how do we know the story is true? It sounds like a fairy tale." Queen Lily smiled and reached into her pocket. She pulled out the small golden ball that had started it all. "This is the very same ball I dropped in the lake all those years ago," she said. "Your father, as a frog, swam to the bottom of the lake to retrieve it for me." The children passed the ball from hand to hand, feeling its weight and admiring its golden shine. "And look there," said Queen Lily, pointing to the base of the oak tree. "That golden frog statue marks the spot where we first met." The statue was small but beautifully made, with emeralds for eyes that seemed to watch them with a knowing gaze. Just then they heard the sound of horses' hooves. King Oliver rode up to them, dismounting with a smile. "Telling them our story, my dear?" he asked Queen Lily. She nodded. "Yes, the story of the princess and the frog prince." King Oliver sat down with his family under the oak tree. "It's a good story," he said. "And do you know what the best part is?" The children shook their heads. "The best part," said King Oliver, taking Queen Lily's hand, "is that we lived happily ever after." And they did. King Oliver and Queen Lily ruled for many long and peaceful years. They kept the golden ball and the story of the frog prince as a treasured family legend. The golden frog statue remained by the lake, and it was said that sometimes, on very quiet nights when the moon was full, you could hear it croak once or twice, as if reminding everyone of the magic that can happen when promises are kept and kindness is given even to the strangest of creatures. in time, their children grew up and had children of their own, and the story was passed down from generation to generation. And in every telling, the lesson remained the same. A promise made is a promise kept, and kindness can transform even the most unlikely situations into something beautiful and lasting. Even now, if you visit that kingdom, which some say still exists in a corner of the world where magic is still believed in, you might find an old oak tree by a lake with a small golden frog statue beneath it. And if you look carefully into the lake, you might just see the reflection of a princess and a frog forever connected by a promise, a golden ball, and the magic of true friendship that grew into love.